Welcome to the Kickstart My Franchise podcast. I'm your host, Tim Michaels. Today, I'm joined by Lance Ingram and Tim Lovett from an emerging franchise concept called Waterloo Turf. Greetings, gents.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having us.
Thanks for joining me. Maybe you could tell our audience who each of you are and what your roles are at Waterloo.
Yeah, I can start. My name's Lance Ingram. I'm located here in Austin, and I'm the founder of Waterloo Turf Company.
Awesome. And I'm Tim Lovett. I'm the CEO and co-owner of Waterloo Turf and bring a lot of the franchise experience to the table. So Lance has got the turf covered and I've got the franchise side covered. Perfect.
And Lance, how did you come up with this idea? How did this business start?
Yeah, so, to try and not make it too long of a story for you, I graduated college in 2016, had no idea what I was going to do. I went to Baylor. I wanted to come back to Austin. I didn't have a job, so I moved back in with my parents, and after a little bit of time, I started a different turf company with somebody else back in 2016. And so I helped co-found that and ran it for about 3 years. And then after 3 years of that turf company, I essentially got lured into the corporate life. I was seeing all my friends do all these cool corporate events, going to Las Vegas or whatnot for conferences. And I kind of just fell victim to saying, I want to see what that's about. So I quit my previous turf company. I went and signed up for a medical device sales job and did that for about 2 years. And I quickly realized that being your own boss is a lot more fun than having a boss. And I remember when I was quitting my old turf job, I had all my buddies telling me, dude, you have what we are all trying to get to. Don't leave. You have it. And I didn't listen to him. I went and did the medical device thing. And like I said, I realized, being your own boss is more fun. So on one long drive back from Abilene, Texas, about 3 hours away from Austin, I just kind of hit that point where I was like, okay, what would it look like if I start up another turf company? And just kind of played that out throughout that drive and just got really convicted that that's something I should do. And so I'd kind of kept tabs on the turf industry while I was away from the turf industry, and it just continued to just boom. And so I said, you know what? Let's make the dive. The same month I was getting married, I quit my medical job, my steady medical job. I would not recommend doing that. And I started up Waterloo Turf, and that was back in 2021. And yeah, here we are today.
How did your wife feel about you quitting right before you got married?
I'll let her answer that one. No, she's super supportive. Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, FOMO is real, man. You should have talked to me before you went back to corporate. I could have scared you straight.
Yeah,
but Tim, and I know you said you have a background in franchising. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, previously I had a role at a franchise home services platform, and so I was an operations executive there and really helped scale that brand and that platform. So everything from coaching to training, brand marketing, digital marketing, had my hand in a little bit of all of it. So really enjoyed that. And, Lance and I, from, us coming together for Waterloo Turf, we were actually just friends in Austin. So we were friends. We went to church together, knew each other. And Lance started to see some things in franchising, and that's when we started to kick off a little bit more of a business relationship.
It's awesome. So I don't know a whole lot about turf. I know that, I use turf when I go and I'm putting on a putting green. But could you talk to me a little bit about the benefits of turf? What are the use cases?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people are moving towards turf because of water conservation or legislation changes, and then obviously the upkeep and maintenance that goes into trying to keep a natural yard looking good. As far as why people are moving towards it, I think those are some big factors. And then obviously just our slogan is get your Saturdays back. And, we truly are trying to give that to people, where we don't want people spending their weekends, their Saturdays, their Sundays, mowing the yard, fertilizing, trimming it up, like all that stuff. We'd rather, be able to play a pivotal factor in someone's life and give them that time back, spend more time with your family, with your kids, have friends come over, go watch the game somewhere. So, that's what we're aiming to do with Waterloo. We really view it more as like a lifestyle type of brand than just we're turf installers.
And can you give me a sense for what like the upfront cost is for something like this? I assume, it obviously varies by how big the space is, but just like a rough ballpark of like what your average backyard, or I don't know how you guys think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say our average ticket is around $10,000. And so it obviously varies. And we've recently added on the maintenance component. So in addition to installing, commercially and residentially, we are now also launching a program called the Freshen Up program. So what that is essentially you have your one big ticket item, which is that install, and then you try and snag that recurring revenue fee as well, where the client will have us come back, whether it's quarterly, bi-monthly, annually, to essentially just freshen up their yard. So keep it looking good, keep the blade standing tall. It really is a way to invest in your investment, because although there's no maintenance that goes along with turf, you want it to actually last as long as it says it will. And so by using this Freshen Up program, you're helping the client maintain that yard and make sure it lasts for as long as they want it to.
Nice. What is the typical like shelf life of turf?
Yeah, so the products that we typically sell here in Austin all have a 15-year manufacturer warranty. And so we like to think about it with proper upkeep and freshen up program. Your turf should last ideally 15 years.
Not bad, not bad. Let's see here. So if I were to do this, how many employees would I need? Like, what does it look like to get started?
So I just hired my first sales manager here in Austin about 4 months ago. So up until
Wow.
that point, really the last 4 years, I've been running this as owner operator, which, is extremely doable. The business has grown, and then obviously taking on this franchising aspect of the business, I needed to hire things out. And so I got a sales manager plugged in. We also have another location in San Antonio that has a turf pro running that area as well. So um, owner operator for single territories works great. And then as you grow, you can obviously grow your business with it.
And how are you doing the actual like labor component of this? Is that subcontracted or how does that work?
Yep. Our crews are subcontracted.
Got it. Fantastic. Um, and obviously this works in like a warmer weather climate like Texas. How do you guys think about it when it gets to colder weather climates like where I'm at in Illinois or Minnesota?
Tim, one of the,
Go ahead.
as we were launching this, is something that we looked into a lot. Can you run an artificial turf company in a colder weather climate like the Midwest or the Northeast? What we found as we went around and did our research, some of the largest turf companies in the U.S. are located in the Midwest and the
Hmm.
Northeast. So it's a model that works really well, really across the country. Many of the demand drivers are the same. We find that in Austin, you're switching to turf because of consumer demand. People want
Hmm.
their time back. People like you and me, Tim. I mean, we want to go to the brewery instead of, mowing the lawn all weekend. We just don't quite get that feeling where, hey, I'm proud of the work that I put in on the lawn. I'd much rather just have it look nice year round and have myself spend no time on it. So those drivers are still the same across the country. And when you are in a colder weather climate, we find that a lot of commercial or a lot of artificial turf installation companies have a much larger commercial component as well. So
Hmm.
the industry itself is about 80% commercial, and that includes sports fields, but it also includes playgrounds. So where schools are being developed, if local governments are looking to, create a park with a playground or, some type of kids play area, these are all great jobs that are happening across the country, including like restaurants, bars, dog
Hmm.
daycare. So if you are launching in, Evanston or kind of Northwest Chicago where you're at, Tim, yeah, we
Don't
direct
give
you.
my location away.
Whoops. We definitely say go after the commercial relationships, and that's how you could build a big artificial turf business.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So is that like your main focus from day one, is like trying to get those B2B accounts, or like what would you recommend like a new franchisee does as far as like mix, and how are they acquiring these customers?
You want to take it, Tim?
We're both.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best parts about Waterloo Turf and our franchise model. We're both residential and commercial. So, Lance, if you want to talk a little bit about our launch process and how it works with developing B2B relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. So like Tim said, we are both. We're residential and commercial. The way I describe it to franchisees is that first real, 90 days, 90 to 120 days, I believe are the most impactful days of your business. You're not going to have a lot of work. You're not going to have a lot of installs yet. So you're going to have a lot of time. And so what you do with that time is extremely important for the longevity and future of your business. So I believe that the best way to utilize that time, that first 3 to 4 months, is by going out and building commercial relationships, because those are going to continue to pay dividends 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the road. So dropping into commercial offices, bringing them, here in Austin, breakfast tacos or donuts or coffee, whatever it might be, with the end goal being that you're going to become their turf guy, so that anytime a turf job comes across their desk, they reach out to Waterloo, and hopefully, because you gave them some Waterloo swag, they're also wearing your hat at the time too, which would make it even better. But yeah, I firmly believe, that first 90 to 120 days, really building on those commercial relationships is key, because once your business takes off and you are doing installs every day, you're rarely going to have the time to go out and do that initial business development. And by that point, it's too late, and you're too far gone. So that's the way we've done it both in Austin and in San Antonio. And we plan on doing with all franchisees.
It sounds like you obviously, did the whole owner operator thing for several years. How do you guys feel about somebody who might say like, I don't want to quit my job, or I only want to do this 15 to 20 hours a week? Is that the type of person that you would still consider, or is that not really a fit for your brand?
Yeah, we consider it on a case by case situation. So if somebody is coming to us and they want to hire a GM from day one, that is a model that we do. Here's how we would look at it: is we would like to see that there's a plan. So does this person have prior business experience? Have they run a business before? Um, I think that there's so many things that you learn once you're in the seat and you are owning and running your own business, that having not had done that before, there's a lot of learnings that you're just not going to be able to bring into this business if you're not managing it from day one. So we would love to see prior business experience too. We'd like to see a great financial plan. So for somebody who does have a great earning job, they want to stay in it. Maybe they have some experience in investing or doing something else on the side. They want to launch a Waterloo Turf business. We'd love to see a multi-unit investment, a multi-location investment, and making sure that they're financially capable of bringing on a great general manager from day one. So yes, we consider it. I think, a lot of our franchisees will be very similar to Lance, to where they want to start and hire a guy alongside of them from day one, or they want to be the owner operator. But for our other franchisees who have a good financial plan and great experience, yes, we're more than open. And one of our franchisees that's going to launch later this year is doing just that. So we're very open to it.
Awesome. Fantastic. As far as like the territory size, I feel like within the industry, there's kind of a standard of around 200,000 people. How large are you guys?
Our territory size is almost double that. So, for us, really where our heart is, and when Lance and I wanted to start Waterloo Turf, it was all around, let's make this franchise be 100% about franchise owner profitability. So all of the decisions that we've made in putting this together, that's the first question that we ask. So when it came to territory, for a franchise owner to be as profitable as they can, they're going to have as much opportunity to get as much market share as they can. So we decided to go with much larger territories. Our territories are 350,000 in population.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, I feel like a huge just issue within the industry is people feeling like this is a cash grab from the franchisor's perspective. How much can they squeeze out of their franchisees? So it's definitely refreshing to hear you guys say that. Um, and yeah, um, can you talk a little bit about if I signed up, as a franchisee, what kind of training or support am I going to get?
Yep. So, Tim, you're sounding like you want a Waterloo Turf franchise. I'm excited.
Come
Come
on,
on,
talk
man.
me into one.
Let's go.
We're probably
Okay.
not registered in
Yeah,
Illinois though, so.
not yet. Not yet. So, let's say, Tim, yeah, you come on as a franchisee. Um, we're providing a bunch of training and a bunch of support. So, you would come down to Austin, and it's 4-day in person training. And where your location is, Tim, we don't want you rolling turf. We want you to use your installers in your crew to roll turf. But when you come to Austin, you're going to roll turf. So we're going to put you on the team. You're going to be getting your hands dirty. You're going to understand and really learn the trade really well. We want you to go back to your market and have your crew feel like you're confident in what you're doing and they can look to you for leadership and management. So when you're here in Austin, we're going to teach you how to install turf. We're also going to teach you the estimating process, sales process, recruiting, running the business, P&L coaching, everything that goes along with the Waterloo Turf business. But we are going to be heavy on the quality of the installation, and we're going to teach you how to do that. From
Awesome.
there, when you go and launch your location, we will come out to your location and bring our team for on-site opening support for 4 days. So in between training and when you launch, we want you to go out there and fill up your first week with jobs. We will come out and help you launch those first jobs. We will help you train your first crew on their installations. We will show you this is how you manage a job so that when we leave, you're as well equipped as you can be to go and run your business from there. And then from an ongoing perspective, our operating manual is in an app so that it's all searchable. We have a bunch of videos. So let's say somebody's walking into a putting green job and they forget how to run an estimate for it. They can just search it on the app, see how to estimate a putting green if they forgot how to do it, and then watch a video too that goes along with it. And then you'll be
Nice.
assigned a franchise business coach for an ongoing coaching relationship. All of our franchise business coaches will have and do have turf installation experience. So when you call and say, hey, Lance, my guy just hit a sprinkler head. What do I do? Lance can tell you this is how you cap it. And he can work with you through the actual problems that you're going to have as a business owner when you encounter them.
Awesome. Awesome. How much would you say it costs to open one of these?
Our item 7 is 106 to 134, and that's for one territory.
Awesome. I like it. Nice and low budget friendly there. Um, can you talk a little bit about the competitive landscape? Like, what does it look like?
Yeah, I think from a national perspective, one of the things that we're most excited about is that there's nobody really doing quite what we're doing at Waterloo Turf. There hasn't really been a national franchise artificial turf brand. So I think it's a great opportunity for all of our franchisees to be able to come into a national turf brand and really be the first to market in that. So as we're growing across the country, our brand will grow and we'll get a lot of trust from consumers just from the way that we're going to do our marketing. Lance, you can talk about some of the local artificial turf competitors and how you've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like I talked about in my story back to Waterloo, um, turf is just growing. And so we're seeing it a lot, especially here in Austin. More and more companies are coming on board, which to me is a great sign. I just think that means that the demand is high and people want it. And so the more people that are interested, obviously competition comes with it. But um, I look at it as an advantage to a growing market.
Hmm. Do you guys have an item 19 earnings claim?
We do. Yep.
Can you talk at all about, maybe just a sneak peek at a high level, what people can see? You don't have to say specific numbers, but is it, a full P&L? Is it just revenue?
Yep. We did a full P&L. So
Nice.
we took Lance's books and put them in here. What we disclosed is you can see Austin for a full year in 2023. So the revenue, the COGS, full P&L. We took Austin for 10 months in 2024, January through October. From a revenue perspective, that was just north of 1.1 million, and the margin that we have is 21%.
Nice.
And then
That's fantastic.
we also included San Antonio, and so San Antonio was in its first full year of operation in 2024, and this was run remotely with a manager from day one. So there's 10 months, January through October, with what we have in the item 19, and you can see in there what San Antonio's done in its first full year with a manager. It is just north of 600K with a net income a little bit over 11% in its first full year with an employee.
Yeah, I mean that's not bad with a manager in place for first year especially. Um, Very impressive. I had another question here and it's escaping me. What else haven't I asked about that is important for a franchisee or a potential franchisee to know about you guys or your brand?
I mean, I would say that both the current Waterloo Turf employees, both here in Austin and in San Antonio, had no prior turf experience. So I know that maybe, the landscaping industry can be intimidating to some people, but both the people we've brought on board or I've brought on board have had no prior turf experience and are doing amazing. I mean, I wish I could take more credit for it, but these guys they picked up on it quick and they're extremely knowledgeable. And at the end of the day, turf is turf, and it's a really fun product that you get to work with. Um, one of my favorite things still to this day, and I'm kind of sad because I've kind of passed on this responsibility to Bobby, our Turf Pro GM here in Austin, is the before and after walkthroughs with clients. I mean, it's the best. You walk it before, obviously, to get the bid, and then the post install walkthrough is the best part of the job. You're really truly impacting these people's lives in a really positive way, and you are giving them time back. You're giving them memories, and just seeing the before and after is the best part.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you guys coming on. It's been very insightful. Um, People can reach out to Lance or Tim here or the other Tim to learn a bit more. So appreciate you guys.
Awesome. Thanks for having us on, Tim. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Tim.